ألا من كنت مولاه فهذا علي مولاه، اللهم وال من والاه وعاد من عاداه.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قاف والقرآن المجيد بل عجبوا أن جاءهم منذر منهم فقال الكافرون هذا شيء عجيب أإذا متنا وكنا ترابا ذلك رجع بعيد قد علمنا ما تنقص الأرض منهم وعندنا كتاب حفيظ بل كذبوا بالحق لما جاءهم فهم في أمر مريج أفلم ينظروا إلى السماء فوقهم كيف بنيناها وزيناها وما لها من فروج.
In the name of Allah, the Merciful, the Compassionate. Thank God and praise upon the Prophet, whom there is no messenger after, and his pure kin. My name is Alpha Omar Ba from غينيا, Conakry. I am 20 years old. I'm from West Africa. I am a student in the Islamic seminary here and in the Islamic University. I used to study religion when I was in Africa, and my father was the teacher. At that time, there were lots of discussions between my academic school and my father, because they said I should choose either to pursue academic studies or Islamic studies in the seminary. I studied both and refused to leave any. When I was in high school, sectarian conflicts were taking place between the Salafis and the Shia. I heard about Shia. I used to attend what it is called, lectures. These lectures aimed to warn people from Shia. It was then that I heard about the Shia, that they believe that Ali is the Prophet instead of Muhammad, peace be upon him, and that the angel Gabriel made a mistake, and such bad things that are considered to be inappropriate.
كانت شنيعة يعتبر شنيعا عندنا وحتى كان هناك صديق هو أيضا من السنة.
I had a friend. He asked about Shia. He got arrested and beaten for that. That lecture was at night. When that happened, everybody started talking about the Shia. The Shia this, the Shia that. Once I was riding a cab. A Shia man was riding too. He spoke a lot with the driver about religion until I got out. Then I started thinking about what I heard. All what the driver said about the Shias was denied by the Shia man. How is that? In the same year, my father traveled to the Hajj. While he was there, he met a Shia sheikh who studied in Iran. When my father came from the Hajj, he heard the bad things people were saying about the Shia, and he knew the man that accompanied him in the Hajj was a Shia. He said, "How is it possible that such a person from whom I have seen great morals and good behavior and devotion in his prayers and in his dua, how is it possible that he's an infidel like they are saying? he started to have doubts about what is being spread regarding the Shia. In high school, I heard that the Shia have an Islamic seminary and an elementary and high school. My father once told me, "How about you attend the Shia school so that you hear from them more about their religion, and then you can tell us whether what is said about them is true or is not true." I agreed to do that. My brother and I were sent to study in their school. I suggested to attend their seminary too, and so I did. I started to hear what they say and how they defend themselves in discussions with new students. At the time, I started to have an idea about what is right and wrong to them. When I used to return home, my father would ask me about different things because he was a teacher in a mosque in Africa. I told him what I used to see there. I had a friend in the same class. We started searching for the truth together. There was a huge library in the school. We decided to begin our search from there. We didn't trust anything those people said. We just heard what they have to say, but we had no evidence about what they said. Because what was explained to us in the lectures showed there was nothing good about the Shia. It only showed them as bad people, so that we would not get to know them. See, from where I come from, the Shias are very few in number, so they cannot reveal what they really are to defend their aqidah and their morals. I thought we had to search, but we were confused because the things they taught us in the seminary were different from what we heard about them. In the library, there were many books. We didn't read the Shia books because we didn't trust what might be written in them. We just didn't trust the Shia. I started searching. I read Hadith الثقلين in Sahih Muslim. The Prophet, peace be upon him, recommended us to follow the Holy Quran and Ahl al-Bayt, peace be upon them. That was the first time I saw that the Prophet, peace be upon him, ever said, "I shall leave you the holy book of God and my household." We used to read, when we were young, that the Prophet said in Hajjat al-Wada', "I shall leave to you the holy book of God and my Sunnah." Now my friend and I started to search for this hadith. Where did it come from? We found this hadith in a book, but it wasn't accurate because it was stated as, "I have been told that the Prophet said." So it wasn't accurate. In elementary school, we studied that the Sihah books are the most trusted books, and everything in it is true. We couldn't find that hadith in these books. We found the holy book of God and my household. We did not find the holy book of God and my Sunnah. I started wondering, How could it be that we know this hadith and it is taught to us, but apparently it is not the right one? Lots of questions and doubts were in our minds, so we searched more and more. We even missed lots of lessons in school, because all what we had in mind was how to find the truth. Whether the Shia doctrine is the right one or not, so that we would follow the right path. This was more important than any other lesson we learned. We continued our research until we saw a saying for Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. He said, there will be 12 Imams after me, or 12 Caliphs after me, according to different sources. We made sure that this saying was true because it was mentioned in all the Sihah books, which we used as a reference. We started wondering, who are those Imams? We only found this saying, but we had no idea who they are. We started wondering, who are those Imams? Who are they? There was nothing clear in front of us to indicate who those 12 Imams that the Prophet talked about were. So, either the hadith is not true, or we find out who the 12 Imams are. We asked a Shia scholar, who are those Imams? He said, now you've come to the right place. Here are the 12 Imams. You can never find 12 Imams except here, in the school of Ahl al-Bayt, nowhere but here. When I read the book The Start and the End for Ibn Kathir, I found a chapter about 12 Imams. I was relieved because I wanted to make sure whether or not the path I was originally on was right or wrong, because I belonged to that path. I read all about it. He had a lot of theories about the 12 Imams and desperately tried to find out who they were. He tried counting the Rashidi Caliphs and that of Bani Umayyah. He added them together, and the sum was more than 12. So he said that this option is not the right one. He tried adding Bani Umayyah's Caliphs only. He had the same result. Their sum is more than 12. He tried several other possibilities, reaching no result. He didn't reach an answer. I wondered a lot. How come he didn't answer this? Every day, everywhere, whenever two people meet, they talk about the Shia. See, the Wahhabis came from Saudi Arabia and Syria. All they talked about is the Shia. They said that facing the Zionists is not a priority. We should face the Shia who pretend that they are Muslims because they're more dangerous. We should get rid of them and then we move on to face others. That is what they say. They say we have to fight the Shia, and after that we might think about facing others. I didn't announce my conversion directly, but all those who knew me, they knew that I was a Shia. But I didn't say it to anyone. When people knew that I was studying in the Shia seminary, they found out. I used to know that a person would realize I was a Shia when he brought me a book talking about a Shia in a bad way and asked me to read it. He wanted me to read it so that I abandon this doctrine. There was a book named To God Then to History. This book was very effective because it talks about the Shia doctrine in a bad, distorted way, not as it truly is. It contains many fabrications, like saying that the Shia distort the Quran, and so on. This book helped our researchers a lot. There were certain things that we hadn't known about it, were it not for this book. We found this book after we converted, so we had to read it. It is either we answer its problematics, or we leave the Shia doctrine. We bought the book and started solving its problematic, some of which we used the help of scholars to solve. We told these scholars, why don't you answer back those people who are distorting our image in the broadcast channels? They said, let them talk. Right and truth can never be hidden. By that, they are promoting us. At that time, all people were asking us who those Shia people are, so that they could beat them and get rid of them. See, because of these broadcasting channels, people had this urge to meet a Shia and ask him, how possibly do you believe what we've been told you believe? How is it that you behave the way that we've been told you behave? Once I was in the bus with my sister. A man started asking me why I left my religion. As if I converted to the Shia doctrine because of money or something. He talked and asked a lot. When he finished, I said to him, how is it possible you think that I converted to the Shia doctrine because of money, like you assumed? He said, it is known that the Shia pay so much money. That's why a lot of people convert. My sister told him, there's no way my brother could convert for such a reason. I told him, if it was for money, I would not have converted, because people would have respected me, at least, and I would have lots of relations, unlike my current situation. So, is it that I converted because of money? He said, then why did you convert? I told him, you should have asked me this question before accusing me. Then I told him I converted because I found that it is a true religion of God. Before converting, we used to know 4 people from Ahl al-Bayt. We knew the Prophet, peace be upon him, and Ali, Al-Hassan, Al-Hussein, and Sayyid al-Zahra, peace be upon them. We only knew them. We did not know about Ali ibn al-Hussein and Muhammad al-Baqir or Ja'far al-Sadiq. We did not know them. After converting or during research, we found that they have a very high status, higher than we thought. We used to know that Ali is like a brother to the Prophet, peace be upon him, and he was a scholar, and so on. But after we converted, we started to discover Ahl al-Bayt. When we read a story about them, we noticed the difference between it and what we had read previously. Once you read their stories, you know that the person who says these words is not a normal person. He must be extraordinary. We read Nahj al-Balagha and learned from it, and from other books about the biography of Ahl al-Bayt. All this influenced us a lot. Imam al-Hussein, peace be upon him, sacrificed himself for Islam. If it weren't for Imam al-Hussein's revolution in Karbala, we might not have found Islam today. Imam al-Hussein's sacrifice at that time and his victory are great lessons. As it appears, Yazid won the battle because he killed Imam al-Hussein. But that's not true. Islam achieved victory because once we know that the Prophet's grandson, peace be upon him, was killed in this way after less than a century of his death, then we know the truth. This can only mean one thing. Why was Imam al-Hussein, peace be upon him, why was he killed? What is it he did to be killed for? This poses lots of problems for us. In these days, Muslims have no choice other than uniting and leaving conflicts between them and gathering for dialogue to settle things out, instead of killing each other in the name of this religion that was sent as mercy for people. This religion is being distorted to be a religion of murder, as if it became an indignation instead of the mercy it has. The only option Muslims have is to unite and think about the differences between them and discuss it, because the only one winning here is the enemy. Muslims are killing one another, and the enemy is happy about that, because we're showing a distorted and awful image about Islam.
ونزلنا من السماء ماء مباركا فأنبتنا به جنات وحب الحصيد والنخل باسقات لها طلع نضيد رزقا للعباد وأحيينا به بلدة ميتا كذلك الخروج كذبت قبلهم قوم نوح وأصحاب الرس وثمود وعاد وفرعون وإخوان لوط وأصحاب الأيكة وقوم تبع كل كذب الرسل فحق وعيد أفأينا بالخلق الأول بل هم في لبس من خلق جديد ولقد خلقنا الإنسان ونعلم ما توسوس به نفسه ونحن أقرب إليه من حبل الوريد